ওয়েলকাম টু মাই চ্যানেল ইংলিশ ফার্স্ট ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ কম্পাইলেশন ফাইনাল 2021 ক্লাস 9 ফুল মার্কস 50। আজকে এই প্রশ্নের উত্তরগুলি নিয়ে আলোচনা করব। তার আগে যারা চ্যানেলে নতুন হয়ে এসছো অবশ্যই চ্যানেলটি সাবস্ক্রাইব করো এবং পাশে থাকা বেল আইকনে ক্লিক করো, অল নোটিফিকেশন সবার আগে তোমার কাছে পৌঁছে যাবে। চলো দেখি ইংলিশ ফার্স্ট ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ ক্লাস 9 ফুল মার্কস 50 কী আছে দেখি। নাম্বার 1, অ্যান্সার দ্য ফলোইং কোশ্চেন অ্যাবাউট 15 ওয়ার্ডস। 1. What was the intention of the captain after his spaceship landed on Earth? অ্যান্সারটা কী হবে দেখি। The intention of the captain after his spaceship landed on Earth was the amazing and precious things he proud with himself for him to landed his spaceship. পরের প্রশ্ন Number 2, but I know Jimmy will meet me here. Why was the speaker so confident about Jimmy? অ্যান্সারটা কি আছে? Number 2 answer, the speaker and Jimmy are two friends. At a time, the speaker was heading west to build his fortune. But they agreed to meet again 20 years later on the same date. So the speaker is confident about Jimmy. এর পরবর্তী প্রশ্ন নাম্বার 2, অ্যান্সার দ্য ফলোইং কোশ্চেন ইন অ্যাবাউট 150 ওয়ার্ডস। The sun is set, the swallow are asleep. Describe the natural scenario of pizza as expressed in the poem Evening, Pontiel Mary Pizza. The natural scenario of pizza is peaceful at middle of evening. And night. Protagonist said the sun is set. She is telling about evening's breath, which is wandering here and there. There is no dew on the dry grass tonight, nor damp within the shadow of the trees. তোমরা ইচ্ছা করলে আরও একটু বাড়িয়ে নিতে পারো। আমি এই পর্যন্তই উত্তরটা করলাম। এবার কোশ্চেন নাম্বার 3, অ্যান্সার দ্য ফলোয়িং কোশ্চেন ইন অ্যাবাউট 150 ওয়ার্ডস। এই প্রশ্নে আমরা আজকে আলোচনা করব। এ রিচ ওল্ড ফার্মার who felt that he had not many mere days to live called his sons to his beside. My son, he said, heed what I have to say to you. Do not on any account part with the estate that has belonged to our family for so many generations. Somewhere on it is hidden a rich treasure. I do not know the exact spot, but it is there and you will surely find it. Spare no energy and leave no spot unturned in your search. The father died, and no sooner was he in his grave than the sons set to work digging with all their might, turning off every foot of ground with their spades and going over the whole farm 2 or 3 times. No hidden gold did they find, but at harvest time, when they had settled their accounts and had pocketed a rich profit far greater than that of any of their neighbors, they found the treasure. এরপর নেক্সট প্রশ্ন 3b, I ruined it. What is it referred to here? How did the narrator of the story ruin it? I ruined it. What is it referred to here? How did the narrator of the story ruin it? In the ruin, the narrator describes what he sees before him, a ruined, empty city, which is just a shell of its former glory. It is clear that the true catalyst to its destruction was the plague that killed nearly all of its inhabitants, including the strongest men. The narrator conjures up vivid images of the loud rivalry that used to emanate from the mid hall. Further, gold clad soldiers would toast their wealth. Unfortunately, as the narrator notes, their hardiness was no match for the power of nature. Even after the plague, nature's forces continued to run down upon the city with furious storms. However, some of the wars have lasted for several generations. It was common for Anglo Saxon writers to focus their work the ravages of nature like disease, intemperate weather, and the destruction of crops. Sometimes they would invent a character that embodied nature's threat, like Grendel in Beowulf. The ruin also expressed the belief similar to that in Dior that all things pass in time. People will always die and buildings will decay because because time will keep marching forward. এরপরে নাম And now, my good omen, just let me and this gentleman have a good look about us. Who is the speaker? What did he see in the rooms occupied by Mr. Hyde? এই প্রশ্নের অ্যান্সারে চলে যাব। দেখো প্রশ্নটা দেখে নাও অ্যান্ড নাও মাই গুড ওম্যান জাস্ট লেট মি অ্যান্ড দিস জেন্টলম্যান হ্যাভ এ গুড লুক অ্যাবাউট আস হুই দ্য স্পিকার এর প্রশ্নের উত্তরে চলে যাবো দি স্পিকার ইজ দ্য ওল্ড ম্যান হি সিজ ইন দ্য রুমস ফুল অফ হেভি কেন অকুপাইড বাই মিস্টার হাইড approximately 1 year later the scene opens on a maid who sitting at her window in the wee hours of the morning witness a murder take place in the street below. She sees a small evil looking man whom she recognizes as Mr. Hyde encounter a polite aged gentleman. When the gentleman offers Hyde a greeting, Hyde suddenly turns on him with a stick, beating him to death. The police find a letter addressed to Uttersons on the dead body, and they consequently summon the lawyer. They identify the body as Sir Danvers Crew, a popular member of parliament and one of his clients. Do as directed. It, it is hoped that a good salesman should have the gift of the gab. Identify the idiomatic expression, the sentence, and write its meaning. Gift of gab. It বাকপটু কথা. She should work in sales and marketing. Gift of gab. মানে বাকপটু কথা. তার সেলস অ্যান্ড মার্কেটিংয়ে করতে গেলে তার বাকপটুকতা থাকা দরকার অ্যাজ ইট ওয়াজ রেনিং হেভিলি উই কুড নট মুভ আউট অ্যাজ ইট ওয়াজ রেনিং হেভিলি উই কুড নট মুভ আউট এটা কমপ্লেক্স সেন্টেন্স হলো এরপরে ইউ শুড ওবে ইউর প্যারেন্টস রিরাইট দ্য সেন্টেন্স ইউজিং দ্য অ্যাডজেক্টিভ ফর্ম অফ দ্য ওবে অলওয়েজ বি ওবিডিয়েন্ট টু ইউর প্যারেন্টস এখানে ওবের অ্যাডজেক্টিভ হচ্ছে ওবিডিয়েন্ট তারপর মেক হেস্ট you will be late. Use alternative conjunction make haste or you will be late. E. Anamika is not well. She cannot come to school. Use elative conjunction. Anamika is not well for she cannot come to school. এরপরে চলে যাব আইডেন্টিফাই দ্য ফিগার্স অফ স্পিচ ইন দ্য ফলোয়িং সেন্টেন্সেস Number A, 6A, my life is like an open book, variety, the spice of life, Vieta, the grey geese were amazing in a field. The D, he tears were a river falling down her cheeks. Number 8 টা হবে, my life is like an open book, metaphor. তারপর variety is the spice of life, metaphor. The grey geese were grazing in a field, alliteration. Her tears were a river flowing down her cheeks metaphor. এবার রিপোর্ট দ্য ফলোয়িং কনভারসেশন। এই কনভারসেশনটা দেওয়া আছে, এটাকে আমরা রিপোর্ট করব। নোরা পোর ক্রিস্টাইন ইউ আর এ উইডো মিসেস লিন্ডে ইয়েস ইট 3 years ago now. Nora, yes, I knew, I saw the papers. I assure you, Christine, I meant ever so often to write to you at the time, but I always put it off, and something always prevented me. এরপর মিসেস লিন্ডে বলছে, I quite understand, dear Nora, it was very bad of me, Christine. Poor thing, how you must have suffered, and he left you nothing. Mrs. Linden, no, extracted from a dollhouse by Henry Houston. এরপর দেখি উত্তরটা দেখে কি বলেছে। নোরা sympathized with her childhood friend Christine and said that she was a widow. Mrs. Linde affirmed it and further added that it was 3 years ago then. Nora then said that she knew, she saw in the papers. She further assured Christine that she meant ever so often to write to her at the time, but she always put it off and something always prevented her. Something always prevented her. Mrs. Linde said that she quite understand. Nora again said to Christine that it was very bad of her. She then said that she might have suffered. Nora asked if Mrs. Linde's husband left her very much money, and Mrs. Linde admits that he did not know. এরপর 8. Write an essay in about 250 words on the following topics: the use of internet service in modern India. The internet has intruded globally into everything than we could imagine. In India, there are hardly any people who do not rely on the internet for their daily life. The uses of internet are endless. A few of them are as follows. Internet is a valuable source for a lot of information in India. Data and information related all fields are updated in the internet. Students can spend a few minutes over the internet to read their relevant study materials. With internet, communication has become better and easier. One can call and talk to someone over the internet. Video calls are an interesting option with communication through internet. Mailing is another form of communication which is widely used in daily corporate life. The corporate world relies on internet for file sharing, data transfer, internet communication and external communication, and many other purposes. In simple words, internet forms the base of the corporate today. আমরা এসেটা লিখে ফেললাম। এরপর তোমরা এটা ভালো করে একবার দেখে নাও। যদি আজকে ভিডিও ভালো লাগে অবশ্যই এটি লাইক দেবে আর সাবস্ক্রাইব করতে ভুলবে না। থ্যাঙ্কস ফর ওয়াচিং। আজকে এই পর্যন্তই।